Hello?
Hi, Rosabelle. It's David Farrier. How are you?
Oh, hi, David Farrier. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I don't mean to put the pressure on, but Rob and I are about to go on stage in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, Rosabelle of New Zealand, what do you think when you think Salt Lake City, Utah?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I actually know nothing. I don't know anything. Is there a Salt Lake in it?
That's actually an incredibly good question. There must be. I don't know that.
I feel like it's the city of Salt Lakes, is what the name suggests at least.
Look, you pose a very good question. Is there anything else about Utah that comes to mind?
Utah.
UTAH.
Something about tires, maybe?
Like car tires?
Yeah, is that, I don't know. Is Michelin from there?
Rosabelle, another good question. I have no fucking idea.
It probably isn't. I know nothing about. I don't even know where it is on a map.
Flightless, flightless. I'm a flightless bird, touchdown in America. Flightless, oh, flightless. I'm a flightless bird, touchdown in America. I'm a flightless bird, touchdown in America. I'm a flightless bird, touchdown in America.
Hello. Thank you for coming out on a beautiful Sunday night. It's always nice when people turn up to a show, so genuinely thank you. This means a lot. I can't believe we can come to a city and have people turn up to listen to our show live, so sincerely thank you. Yeah. Just quickly, no tires. And I'm right? No tires. There's no tires.
I think they have tires here.
There's tires, there's definitely no Michelin, and there's nothing else. But there is a big Salt Lake.
Yeah. They don't have any Michelin restaurants. I did look that up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know.
But the food is good.
Food is good.
What else is here? Best Friends is in Utah. I don't know if you listened to our Best Friends episode. That was unusual. But me and Rob have been sort of settling in. We've been seeing what's happening here. Do we like it? I like it.
Yeah, we learned that Charlie Kirk was here 40 minutes before he died.
Yeah. And I was sort of complaining and moaning to Rob about how intense the security is here. And yeah, I can sort of see why, and kudos. This venue is amazing, by the way. They've been so great settling us in, so thank you to the venue, and we're very glad to be here. As usual, every city we go to, we kind of want to have a little exploration. We got here yesterday?
I got here 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah, I came a little bit late.
Yeah.
But yesterday we had a little bit of a look around, and Rob's going to take you through one of his infamous slideshows. Yeah, there's the Mormons here. You probably know this already.
Yeah.
It kind of blew my mind how prominent it is everywhere.
There's so many buildings.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. Which, when we were looking up places to go, I read it as LSD.
It was confusing.
I was really excited.
What is this trippy show? It was still pretty trippy, I got to say. Where else did we go?
Here are the 5 wise virgins.
You don't need to laugh at that. Rob's been
No, you're
working
the
on that
6th,
joke.
not the 5th.
Oh,
These are the 5.
I'm the 6th. That's the gag. I've messed it up for you. I'm sorry. Terrible.
Brigham Young statue.
Yeah, what a guy.
Yeah. Then David stopped for sweet treats. He's got the same diet as my 4-year-old.
This was violating. I mean, I stopped into a supermarket and got some supplies, and it was private. And Rob decided to gather them all together and take a photo, this is pretty much my diet and how I survive, and it is a little bit embarrassing.
To be fair, this is how I found the counter at our Airbnb. I did not stage this.
I am a child. This is accurate. There's a lot of candy.
And then we headed over to the Tracy Aviary.
What a beautiful place. I love this.
We almost bought this giant bald eagle, but it was $250. So we decided
It was
not
out
to.
of a budget. I got this kookaburra instead. This is actually not a New Zealand bird. It's from Australia, but it's really cool. And so I bought that instead. More affordable, $35.
This is David pretending to be a Kia, going on an expedition.
The Kia is one of the best birds in New Zealand, and it kind of blows my mind that most cities we go to, they seem to have this bird.
I've seen so many of them.
Yeah, Rob's like, I'm sick of having to look at these Kia birds all the time. Like, move on. But they're beautiful, and I love them.
Do you want to explain what's going on here?
Cute, right? This is a little lorikeet. They like nectar, and if you go to this aviary, they come out and they suck down nectar from these little cups they give you. They really took a liking to you. Yeah. They went to you even without nectar because you're just so sweet, Rob. You really are.
The next was the Gilgal Sculpture Garden.
Incredible place.
Yeah.
Like, this was like an LSD trip.
So I read this as LSD sculptures in someone's backyard.
Yeah. It
was not.
Out there.
This is Joseph Smith's Sphinx.
We also accidentally walked into someone's backyard when we were trying to get in, and she was obviously had about 100 different people that had done this before. Just like, this is private property, get out.
Yeah.
But we found it eventually.
Some more sculptures, I'm not sure what's going on
more
here.
trippy stuff. And then the turnout was amazing. No King Salt Lake City turned up. I mean, I'd heard it was a pretty conservative city, but you guys showed up and it was amazing.
Yeah, we also learned there was a shooting at the last one.
Yeah, not yesterday. It's peaceful, wonderful, safe. But the turnout was really incredible, and it was kind of the best way to see your Capitol building with all these people there standing up for keeping this country under control. So, did any of you guys go? Yeah, great. We actually bumped into a few people that were like, we really love the podcast. We were like, are you coming to the show? And they're like, no.
We didn't.
Which is hard to know how to take that, you know?
They said we didn't get tickets in time.
Yeah, and then the pressure was saying, like, we've still got some tickets left. We didn't want to pressure them in the spot, but it was a very funny situation. I really enjoyed it. Oh, actually, one thing I did want to mention as a side dish to this, you guys have so many cum trees planted. And it's not like you did this years ago and learned not to do this. There's new cum trees being planted everywhere. Outside our Airbnb, there's young cum trees. So write into your senators. Just tell them to stop planting these trees. Get them to listen to the Flightless Bird episode about why this isn't a great idea. Just a note. I had my first dirty soda backstage, which was incredible. I've sort of been getting into mum talk recently. And it's a trip.
Wait, what does that mean?
It's kind of like mum talk. It's a lot of Mormon mums are on there. And it's kind of just the lifestyle, how it's changing, how it's the same. And obviously no alcohol and these little soda beverages. Apparently Mormons survive primarily on sugar instead of alcohol and caffeine.
Wait, so this is a group chat you're on?
No, Mum Talk. It's a whole group of them on TikTok, all social media platforms. I'll send it to you. You'll love it.
Thanks.
And I bought a load to give away after the show in the lobby. But you have mince and cheese pies here from New Zealand. There's this bakery, Sagado Bakery. Do you know this place? Yeah, they make mince and cheese pies and sausage rolls, and I bought some, and I'm going to give them to you after the show. Not for everyone. I bought 5 sausage rolls, 5 pies. That would have been crazy to feed you all, but very excited. Something we like to do in every city that we're in, it's riffing on Florida Man, and we like to look at the local men of a town, and in this case, Salt Lake City Man. We want to know what he's been up to.
All right, so our first headline, Salt Lake City man charged in attempted arson of Fox 13 news truck.
Little clap there. I get it. It's tempting, isn't it? It's tempting. It's thoughts that run through your mind. A Salt Lake City man allegedly placed an incendiary device under a Fox 13 truck last month. He was charged on September 26 with attempted arson. Authorities found a 1.5-gallon gas can with a multi-foot-long fuse underneath the news truck. The can and fuse were placed under the truck at about 4:15 a.m., said an agent with the FBI, but the fuse self-terminated before it reached the gas can. Nothing blew up. Failed attempt.
All right, next we got Salt Lake City man arrested after allegedly robbing a Salt Lake City Maverick of 3 Slim Jims.
I just thought this was a wonderfully American headline, which I appreciate. It's also in a world where everything feels like it's falling apart. I kind of like an old school pure crime story with no death. And this kind of just fulfills that. Salt Lake City man arrested Monday evening after allegedly robbing a gas station at night point. His alleged target, Slim Jims. William Brown, 46, was booked into the Salt Lake City County Jail on first-degree felony charge for stealing the Slim Jims. It seems intense. According to charging documents, he was holding a 2-inch silver knife during the incident. During the search warrant, police say they found box cutter blades, a lighter, burnt straws, a used syringe, no Slim Jims. This is pretty wild, and this feels like more of a Florida man than a Salt Lake City man.
Yeah. Salt Lake City man allegedly attempts to attack with wooden stake, claims victim was a werewolf.
Which is confusing because stakes are usually for vampires, right?
Yeah.
You got confused, which is quite funny. So this happened last year, June 16. A man was jailed without bail after he allegedly assaulted a victim multiple times, then produced a wooden stake with a nail in it. Quite gnarly. Do you have that word here, gnarly?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's big in New Zealand. We love using it. And began telling the victim he is a werewolf and he was trying to pierce his heart. 5 people called 911 about this. The victim attempted multiple times to retreat, but Perez pursued and placed the victim in a chokehold. He then produced a wooden stake with a nail in it and began telling the victim that he is a werewolf and he is going to pierce his heart. The victim fought back and was able to escape, a happy ending. Perez fled with the victim's backpack. And this is a weird detail in the story that they never explained. The victim's backpack was full of rocks. Sometimes when people write the story, it's like, just delve a little bit deeper. Because I feel like the victim also had a really amazing story to tell.
Or it was maybe a werewolf.
Or it was a werewolf using rocks to kill people. Finally.
Salt Lake City man accused of kidnapping child, striking him after being pranked at home.
Now, deeply American
Not a very
story,
funny one.
the most American. And a pastime that Rob used to partake in a lot, by the way. A Salt Lake City man has been arrested on child abuse and child kidnapping charges, incredibly heavy, after he allegedly chased a boy who had ding-dong-ditched him over the weekend. Tom Bernstone, 58, was arrested on Saturday and is accused of striking the boy several times. Police said a group of kids were having a sleepover on Friday. They decided to doorbell ditch nearby homes, including his home, at around 9:45 p.m. After the group rang the doorbell, Bernstone allegedly chased after them on a bicycle, very dramatic, eventually grabbing the victim by the shirt and yelling at him while striking the child 3 times in the face and punching him in the stomach. Overreaction, I would argue. Awful. Yeah. When police arrived on the scene, Bernstone admitted to having pushed the victim up against a fence and slapped him a couple of times to stop him running away. Police arrested him, read him his rights. He refused to admit the assault, only saying no comment. What do you think about their action? Overreaction, isn't it?
Yeah, for Ding Dong Ditch?
Yeah. Did you ever have any adverse reactions when you did it to people?
No, you run away. You don't ever meet them face to face.
No, maybe this kid didn't run quick enough or something. Yeah. Has anyone ding-dong ditched you?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Not in California, but in Chicago, yes. You just answer the door and no one's there.
You didn't go and assault them and slap them around?
No.
It does seem like an overreaction. Finally, and I'm sort of including this in the Salt Lake City Man segment, with these live shows, we always try and customize the live show to fit the city we're in. And I was thrilled to learn that Squatty Potty was invented in your beautiful town.
Here's a photo of you using one.
Yeah, Rob. Give Rob a laugh for this. He was so proud of this Photoshop job. Really excited. So I did what I usually do when I try and book guests. I reached out to Squatty Potty on social media. Very simple, just trying to book a rep, get you involved. And they responded incredibly helpfully. David, that sounds awesome! Exclamation mark. A lot of these brands shut you down straight away if you're not like a giant podcast. So I was incredibly thrilled by this.
Scene here. If you see, thrilled.
So much effort. And again, thrilled. They said, can you provide me with your email so our team can reach out to you? I provided my email, and then things went incredibly dead. Just nothing. And I was like, where is Squatty Potty? Where are they? That was the sound I made.
But we still had to bring them out tonight, right?
No, they're not here. So in short, yeah, a couple of days after that enthusiasm, the co-creator of the Squatty Potty toilet has been charged in federal court for allegedly receiving videos and photos depicting the sexual abuse of children. I don't need to go into the details of that. But yeah, that PR department sort of vanished from me. And so I decided also probably best not to have them as a guest. I should note, just so we don't get sued, Squatty Potty did go into damage control very publicly. They made it clear that the owner, Arterian, who owns Squatty Potty now, has nothing to do anymore with Robert Edwards because Squatty Potty was sold off. So officially, they're in the clear, but still not a great vibe. It's like it's the last person you want, the last thing you want your inventor or your spokesperson to do. It's like Jared Fogle with Subway, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's just like, don't. My God. Do you guys use Squatty Potties? Yeah. Okay. I hear they're great. I might try them still. Give it a go. Okay. In the lobby, when you walked in, you may have filled in a card that Casey, a wonderful person who helps out with our Patreon, got you to fill in. This is the audience participation segment of the show.
The first audience
The first of many. Casey, could you please present the cards of, please give Casey a round of applause. Casey, you're wonderful. Because it's always good if we're in a city just to kind of learn. Thank you, Casey. You're wonderful. Okay, Rob, you start.
Ooh, all right. Weirdest thing about the city, soaking.
Of course, iconic.
Can you explain soaking, David? I don't know what it is.
I understand soaking is kind of a way to get around sort of having sex without having sex, where genitals are inserted, and instead of any sort of thrusting, the other partner is sort of moved in some way. Potentially the bed is kind of moved a bit.
Friend to jump on the bed,
jump on the bed a bit, and so you can get some friction, which I hear you need for sex.
Would you do that for would you
I'd love
help
to.
with any friends?
I've been trying to do it for years. Yes, so that is, I suppose, part of this town somewhat. Rebecca, the amount of fraud or scam crimes, the highest per capita in the US, despite its squeaky clean image. Naughty, naughty.
All right. Everyone knows about the Mormon church. How about the Sumam church? They do
hello.
Real mummification. When I was a child, my mom dated the founder. I played at his house. I played with his now mummified dog.
Get out.
I played in the pyramid before it was gilded. I know nothing about it. That was 44 years ago.
Okay, I would like to chase that up. Anyone who saves a dead pet in any sort of form has my interest and enthusiasm. 2.5 hours away, says Liz, is the Topaz internment camp. It was the largest US government Japanese internment camp in the US. Over 11,000 people were incarcerated there. Holy shit. Had no idea. Fucking hell.
Pretty weird. The absurd amount of sugary drinks.
Oh, insane. I support it fully. I don't see the problem with any of that. Brilliant. Magic underwear? Of course. Of course. We have a guest who is involved tonight in the Mormon church, and he's been very open. We can ask him anything. So I'm thrilled to have him on soon. Robert?
The alcohol laws and all of the young mothers. I personally had 5 children at age 27. So weird.
Oh my God. So they're sort of saying they're weird for having that many kids that early.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids.
Amy, a girl in my class at school, had 10 kids, which really surprised me at the time. 10's a lot.
She
they
religious?
were Catholic. Yeah, Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah, big time. How many kids do you have?
8.
Wow, doing well. Aaron and Shannon say there are tunnels running underground between the church offices and the Capitol building. That's amazing. That's like very mole-ish behavior, which I'm a big fan
It's
of.
weird how many cities have that. I did not realize, because Seattle has...
Yeah, completely.
Similar.
These tunnel systems. You can see how during COVID and sort of that QAnon time, people got very obsessed with there being underground networks of tunnels with children being drained for adrenochrome and stuff.
I mean, I don't really see...
You believe it?
No, I don't.
It's a belief you have? Yeah, I get it. Like a lot of tunnels in America.
The Salt Lake City Wizard.
Wow, he's popular. We had a very popular wizard in New Zealand.
Gandalf?
Well played.
Yeah, that's Lord of the Rings.
No, we had a wizard in Wellington, our capital, and people loved him. He dressed up as a wizard. He was always on the news talking about things. He ended up doing, I can't remember what, and I don't want to speak out of turn. He did something very bad, and we no longer have a wizard. But anyway, there's a wizard here.
Yeah, can anyone explain?
He's in Sugar House. He just wanders around. Same with our New Zealand guy. Maybe it is our New Zealand guy. Maybe when he did his crime in New Zealand, he came here. I love that. Liz. Oh, no, I've just looped around. I'm back at the beginning.
That was my last one, too.
Oh, my God. It's a weird place. I think there's enough weird things here. We can chase up on some of
That
these
was
things.
a solid weird list compared
That
to
was solid.
what we normally get.
Some cities, weirdly, San Fran, nothing really weird there. It was very, very dry. Okay. I'm excited about this because we're getting into our live guests now, which for me are the thrill of all of this. One thing I find, and I don't need to go on about this too much, I ramble sometimes, but Rob and I are both very conscious doing a live show. We don't want it to be sort of two bros just chatting. So I think it's too much chat.
Yeah, too much.
And so we like to have having a beautiful musician open for us. It's like, holy shit, we get to do that. And the guests, I feel, are like the meat in this sandwich. And I'm incredibly excited about this.
You said sandwich instead of pie?
I'm becoming more American. Despite being a man of logic and science, I, David Farrier, am deeply fascinated by Skinwalker Ranch. Skinwalker Ranch is a property of approximately 512 acres located about 2.5 hours southeast from where we sit right now. Its name is taken from the Skinwalker, a malevolent witch and Navajo legend. Over the last 60 years, it's been a hotbed of paranormal and UFO-related activities. There have been reports of vanishing and mutilated cattle, UFOs, floating orbs, and dog-like creatures who smell of sulfur, and my favorite thing, goblins with long pendulous arms, which is just a really good image.
Lord of the Rings.
Before you write this stuff off as woo, the DoD invested millions looking into the stuff. And in 2016, a man called Brandon Fugal purchased the whole thing. And thanks to him, we have the documentary series, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know why Brandon agreed to do the show, but he did, and I'm over the fucking moon because he has much better things to do with his time. Please welcome to the stage the owner of Skinwalker Ranch, Brandon Fugal. God. Brandon, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. What an honor. I followed your work for quite a while since we first connected.
Yeah, we connected of all places at a Nine Inch Nails show. You're a
Yes.
Nine Inch Nails fan.
Yes.
I'm a Nine Inch Nails fan.
Of course.
You know,
Trent Reznor is one of the most genius musicians, artists of all time.
I see a Nine Inch Nails shirt in the audience there shining out of me. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I said to Brandon, he's like, what do you do? I'm like, I make a podcast. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I own Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how would you describe yourself? Because I know you've done very well in the property game. You are an EP of a TV show about Skinwalker. You own Skinwalker.
Right.
How do you describe yourself?
Well, my day job since I was 18 has been focused on commercial real estate. I'm the chairman of the largest commercial real estate enterprise in the Intermountain region, and it's kind of an unexpected turn to buy the world's most scientifically studied paranormal hotspot. I would have never imagined being put in this role. because I've always dealt with brick and mortar and those things that you can really safely anchor yourself in. But it's been an unlikely journey. And wow, every year gets stranger. I'll tell you that.
What did your clients think when you bought that ranch?
You know, so I kept it secret. When I bought it as a total skeptic. At the time, I truly believed that there was nothing going on that would be considered supernatural or unexplained. In fact, I was convinced at that time, nearly 10 years ago. So this next week, April 1st, April Fool's Day, 2016, this marks the 10-year anniversary of buying this ranch from an elusive billionaire out of Las Vegas, an aerospace tycoon named Robert Bigelow. But anyways, when I was brought the opportunity to buy the ranch and flew down to Vegas to meet with this enigmatic figure, I told him up front, I said, I don't believe any of this stuff. I'd read the book, Hunt for the Skinwalker, and I told him, I said, look, I believe that if people simply apply scientific method and critical thinking skills, they're going to find that there's a natural, prosaic explanation for virtually anything that you think is a mystery in this world. At the time, I'd gone through a faith crisis of sorts as well and was grappling with really organized religion and had reached a similar conclusion to a degree. So I entered this realm of buying Skinwalker Ranch as a total skeptic. I was going to debunk it and donate it to the Boy Scouts of America at the time for a scout, kind of like an Eagle Scout.
Scariest scout retreat of all time.
I was on the board. I was on the board of the National Parks Council, the Boy Scouts, and I thought I'm going to just donate it for $1 a year, the free use. But I wanted to spend 6 to 12 months to fully debunk it, bring in a team of scientists to prove that there was really nothing unusual going on, and move on. But I did it all in secret. I didn't want my name associated with these topics at all.
So how long did that take then to debunk it?
Well, for the first 6 months, I was flying out secretly in my helicopter to get briefed. And even though my team had captured, some interesting things, some UFOs on camera, and had reported some unusual experiences, I didn't feel anything strange. For 6 months, going out there every month, I just found it to be a very beautiful, pristine environment. I mean, anyone familiar with it knows that there's this mesa plateau that runs the entire expanse of the property that has cave systems in it. And there are these old pioneer homesteads that are kind of scattered across the property. It's a really diverse, strikingly gorgeous landscape. And I thought, look, it's just peaceful. Every time I come out there, there's nothing spooky, there's nothing unusual or strange, and I'm going to thoroughly debunk this and show that it's just either the product of groupthink or what I would call an adult scientific snipe hunt. Have any of you know what a snipe hunt is who was in scouting? Okay. So you know what I'm talking about.
Can you tell me?
That's right. That's a very New Zealand thing, I would think. Well, when you're in Scouts, there's a tradition that the Eagle Scouts would indoctrinate the younger Scouts in their first Scout camps. They'd bring them out, and they would trick them and make them think by the end of the night that they were hearing this elusive creature that was on the border of the Scout camp, a snipe. And you'd go out and hunt this snipe, and you'd convince everyone as a group by the end of the night had been thoroughly convinced that they were hearing and seeing things that frankly weren't real. I mean, it's a good illustration of why people, the human mind is a powerful thing. We can psych ourselves out to believe so many things that aren't really real.
Absolutely.
And I thought that this was no different than that. And then 6 months into it, everything changed. One visit shifted me from being a skeptic to not a believer, but an experiencer. And at that point in time, I had to make a decision. Either I'm going to lean into this and I'm going to put millions of dollars into finding out what is really happening here and why Skinwalker Ranch, why this place in northeastern Utah, or I can simply put it aside, plug myself back into the matrix, and simply go about my workaday existence, which would have been easier.
Wait, so what took place that shifted you? Because I'm incredibly skeptical about everything. The Skinwalker, and I've watched some of the doc series, and I have had friends visit through you, like that have experienced some stuff there, and it's made me go like, this is whatever is happening in this space. Something is deeply unusual there.
Right.
Can you tell us what happened before you bought it. So the Shermans were there.
Yeah, so the property had been cursed. Back in the 1800s, there was a falling out between the Ute and the Navajo, where the Ute had sided with the United States government and had also enslaved the Navajo people. And it really boiled to a point where the Navajo left and they cursed the property. They placed a curse on this particular property, and the ridge or the mesa, calling it Skinwalker Ridge, essentially cursing the property that would be forever in the path of the Skinwalker, which is, you explained it pretty well kicking this off, a Native American witch or warlock that essentially sells their soul for immortality or the ability to take on the skin or shapeshift, most often into the form of a werewolf or a bipedal type creature like that. So that was the 1800s. Then it became homesteaded. There were early homesteaders that came in and built the structures that are still standing for the most part. And by the way, the first accounts of bizarre cattle mutilation I've documented back to 1930s, which is actually one of the most intriguing parts of the property. And then the Myers. There was a couple, Kenneth and Edith Myers, that lived there their entire lives from essentially 1940 until they passed away, ultimately in the early 90s, and their estate sold it to the Shermans. The Sherman family came on. It was their dream to raise their prize cattle on this property with their children and really create a prosperous farm and ranching operation. And almost immediately they were accosted by everything from strange wolf-like creatures that were attacking their cattle to actual surgical mutilation of their prized herd.
Well, and they had found deadlocked windows and doors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all sorts of strange things that they found upon taking occupancy of their ranch. Just a convergence of everything from UFO sightings, bizarre cattle mutilations that were literally causing them financial distress. I mean, they were having their most prized head of cattle mutilated with surgical precision, with no sign of any predator activity, no tracks.
Which is all documented. Like there's photos of this shit.
Well, and I've got reports. I have a whole file folder full of necropsy reports where veterinarians came in and actually conducted full analysis, and it's disturbing. The cattle mutilation phenomena is a whole other topic, but I would say it is arguably the biggest unsolved crime spree in the United States to this day. Over 10,000 documented incidents. And there are a number on this property that have occurred, and no one's ever been caught. No one's been prosecuted. No one's been caught, and it's been going on for a long time.
Whatever is happening, it's something deeply unusual and unknown, whether it's otherworldly or from here.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Wild Alaskan. I don't know about you, but when I go and buy fish from the supermarket sometimes, it just doesn't live up to the fishy expectations that I have. Doesn't really taste how I want it to. I feel like it's not fresh enough. It's just not the fish that I want. And that's where Wild Alaskan Company comes in. It offers the best way to get wild-caught, high-quality seafood delivered to your door on your schedule. Each Wild Alaskan box that arrives comes with individually portioned, vacuum-sealed, easy to prep, and great for any meal no matter how quick or elevated. All fish is quick frozen, fresh from the Alaskan waters, which helps lock in the freshness and the texture, the flavor, and key nutrients. And it's also fish you can trust with no GMOs, antibiotics, or other additives. Every order supports sustainable harvesting practices and Alaskan fishermen whose history is tied to the region and practice. I got a big box of Wild Alaskan. I have been eating up the salmon like an absolute mad person. I've been using my air fryer just like a really basic cook, and good God, this fish is good. It's so delicious, and it's so good for you. Also, there's a money-back guarantee. Wild Alaskan Company is so confident that their fish is the best that they offer a 100% satisfaction and money-back guarantee, so you can try your first box risk-free. So, go to wildalaskan.com/bird for $35 off your first order of premium wild-caught seafood. That's wildalaskan.com/bird for $35 off your first order. Thanks to Wild Alaskan Company for sponsoring this episode. Support for Flightless Bird is brought to you by Bombas. The springtime thaw is finally here. Flowers are blooming, days are longer, we're saying yes to more plans, and finally getting outside. We're running, we're walking, we're moving again. And it's the perfect time to upgrade your everyday go-tos with Bombas.
I've been getting back into softball.
Oh my God, you have. You keep texting me about it.
And the Bombas sports socks are truly a game changer. They're super comfortable and designed with sport-specific tech for running, cycling, yoga, hiking, you name it. So it's perfect for softball. They're cushioned exactly where I need it. They're sweat wicking. They don't slide around, even if I'm sliding around.
Oh, I like that.
I can just focus on the game instead of constantly adjusting my socks.
Yeah, and I picked up some Bombas sandals. They're made with this very super lightweight and waterproof EVA that's soft but still supportive. They're super comfortable and perfect to toss on and go wherever I'm going.
And this is controversial, but you're a sandals with socks guy.
I am. It's something I've embraced.
Bombas also makes more than just tees. They've got the best base layers you'll ever own. They've got Bombas underwear and t-shirts, breathable, flexible, really soft. It's a full-on upgrade from your usual basics.
And for every item you purchase, an essential clothing item is donated to someone facing housing insecurity. One purchased, one donated, with over 150 million donations and counting.
Head over to bombas.com/bird and use code BIRD for 20% off your first purchase.
That's BOMBAS.com/bird, code BIRD at checkout. What incident changed your mind and made you think there could be something in this?
No, so what happened was one of my consulting scientists reached out to me and said, hey, I'm friends with the former surgeon from Area 51, and the number one thing on his bucket list is to visit Skinwalker Ranch. He had previously reached out to your predecessor, Mr. Bigelow, and had been turned down multiple times. Would you be willing to host him? And I was like, yeah, you had me at Area 51. To host the surgeon from Area 51? Yeah. Absolutely. But I did say, hey, full disclosure, I don't believe anything strange is really going on. I've owned it for 6 months, and I have yet to experience or even feel anything that is unusual out there. But I'd be happy to pick his brain and have him come out. So we hosted him. He came out with 2 security professionals that were there for the day, and that day, everything changed. Right off the bat, once we entered the property with he and his security detail, equipment started malfunctioning. Smartphones started malfunctioning. People were starting to feel strange. I mean, almost like vertigo sensation. And then when we were taking photos out at Homestead 2, right after we were trying to take photos, our smartphones were all dead. Literally went from 80% to 0, all of them. And so we're like, you know how it feels when your phone's dead and you're in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the day.
Oh, horrific.
It's your lifeline. So we were frustrated, took them all back to the security trailer to plug them into the chargers I had, but proceeded to go out to the ranch. The big security professional, there's a 6'4" guy who is the former head of the California Hells Angels that was there as kind of attending security, and he ended up being rendered catatonic for 10 minutes.
What, just out to it?
Literally checked out, frozen, upright, and it was a strange thing that I witnessed. And then as we were traveling back across the ranch at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on October 14th of 2016, the other security guy was in the back seat of this Polaris open-air Ranger UTV that I had, and he started yelling, "Stop the vehicle." He was waving his hand up in the air. I was looking back, I'm like, what is he? Do we have a flat tire? Have we picked up something? So I bring it to an abrupt stop, and I remember dust flying everywhere. And he's pointing, he says, look. And right ahead of us, right above the mesa, about 100 feet above the mesa, was a 40, 50-foot long silver disc object. Flying saucer.
You're looking at this.
I'm looking at it, pointing. The other guys are looking at it. They're like, are you seeing what we're seeing? It is clear as day. It isn't just some little blinky object or some fuzzy light up in the sky. It is literally in broad daylight, hovering right above the mesa, right in front of us within close proximity. And within seconds, it changed position in the blink of an eye, shifted to the left, and then a few seconds later, it dropped, and we were all amazed, and we all looked at each other. Are you seeing this? And then after a few seconds, it darted right. And a few seconds later, it was gone. It either darted off at Mach 1000, or it cloaked itself, or shifted out of this dimension into another dimension. I don't know what happened, but it was gone in the blink of an eye. And we were all sitting there stunned, having witnessed this.
That's a game changer where your whole reality shifts.
Yeah.
And it's funny, even talking about this, because as I said, I'm incredibly skeptical about things. What I find fascinating about you is you are someone who doesn't need to be spreading the story anywhere. Like, you're incredibly,
It's a
not to be too
liability.
blunt, but you're very good at what you do. You're very wealthy. You are good. You have a business. It makes zero sense for you to start spouting off about any of this.
Right. Well, my
Unless it's something you
competitors have
saw.
tried to use it against me. So it's funny.
Yeah, right.
When I came out of the closet and went public, after the History Channel executives Jedi mind tricked me in 2020 to do the docuseries, which I
Yeah.
would have never imagined doing in my life. But when I came out and decided to finally go public with it, my competitors, one of them took out an ad and they said, "We don't work with UFOs, we work with CEOs," kind of ribbing, pointing fun, trying to take me down and
discredit you,
trying to
essentially.
attack my credibility. And
Yeah.
I've tried with the series, especially, we have stuck with facts. We have not allowed anything to be faked, contrived, fabricated, manipulated. I didn't want to be part of some ghost hunters deal with a bunch of people with night vision goggles tripping over themselves in the dark. I just want the truth. And that's what I told the History Channel. And now season 7 launches, I think, probably this May, June, with 14 episodes, which are going to be revelatory. I think people are going to be shocked at what we unveil in the months ahead.
You outdid Dark Tourist by 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Which
There
is,
you go. It was top 10 of all cable. So one of the things that's most unlike last year, we were top 10 of all cable programming.
How do you? So something else I find interesting. Like, you're Mormon, right?
Right.
Yeah. How do you reconcile those two things? Like, you've got that religious belief, but you've also got a belief in what potentially aliens or other sort of spiritualities. How do those marry up in your mind? And are you unusual in your religion and how you have these other interests, I guess?
Yeah, I'm
and are other
weird.
people in your faith skeptical of you and what you bring into it?
Probably, yeah. Here's the thing. I was raised to believe that there are worlds without number, that we're not alone in the universe. That's one very peculiar and interesting thing about Mormon theology, is it's one of the only religious traditions that is unabashedly vocal about the fact that we are not alone in the universe, that we live in a divinely constructed, intelligently designed reality, and a lot of that is strangely consistent with what we're documenting and these topics of the ranch.
So for you, it's not like a crazy rewiring of your belief system.
No,
It
if
kind of
anything,
slots in.
I guess you could say in some respects it could be faith affirming, although I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the ranch, and I'm not doing anything to try to prove any faith tradition. I think that no one has a corner on the truth. I think there are many paths to enlightenment, and I'm not taking that away from anyone. I just found it was very strangely in alignment with what I was raised with when
Gotcha.
everything came kind of full circle.
This is a weird segue, and I know I've got to get another guest on soon, but just very quickly, another thing that I was drawn to you over was your love of pop culture.
Yeah.
Because, you're also essentially like a big nerd, right?
Totally the biggest of all.
And you have some of the best shit I've ever known about from a private collection of memorabilia, and just you bought a couple of things. Can you just quickly explain what is on stage right now?
So I'm a child of the 80s. I don't know how many of you in here were raised as children of the 80s. So
It's the best.
I like to say I was raised by George Lucas and Spielberg and James Cameron and Francis Ford Coppola, Ridley Scott, you name it. And so I'm a product of that era. And so I've been on a quest to buy all of the cultural artifacts, the movie props, the actual physical pieces, from the Poltergeist clown to Indiana Jones bullwhip, you name it, to Darth Vader's mask. But here what we have on stage that has been part of my journey of acquiring these artifacts that shape my worldview. This is from Hellraiser. This is the actual reference bust that the makeup artist would use when they were preparing the actor who played Pinhead. And that next to him is, does anyone know what that cube is? What is that called? Anyone know? It's called the Lament Configuration.
Have we got Hellraiser fans here, or is this falling? Salt Lake City isn't the place?
It's a demonic puzzle box that
Hands
unlocks.
up for like Hellraiser? Holy shit.
Okay, you know,
Go
it
on.
unlocks portals to hell and the other world. So that's the actual screen used lament configuration demonic puzzle box from the original Hellraiser 1987. And then back there, you've got Chucky. That's the original Chucky doll. In fact, it's the only Chucky doll that I've ever seen go on the market from the 1988 horror movie Child's Play, which spawned another franchise. You've got the Hellraiser franchise, the Child's Play franchise.
Insane.
And this Chucky was actually in a glass case in Planet Hollywood, I believe for over 20 years in Vegas before they shut it down and put it up for auction.
You swept in and grabbed it.
Yeah, well, they put it up for auction. I was fortunate to be able to acquire it. The funny thing is about Chucky, I put it in a guitar stand. You know what a guitar stand looks like. Oh, you've got one over here. Yeah. You kind of lay it back in a guitar stand, and it kind of sat there for a while until a few weeks after I bought it and it was shipped to my office. Right in the middle of the day, I swear to you, and everyone outside my office witnessed it. I mean, I called everyone in. That doll jumped like 3 feet and landed right at the foot of my desk.
What, you were in the room when it happened?
Yeah, and it like thwapped. I'm just sitting there typing on my keyboard, and all of a sudden, I hear this like thud right next to the desk, and there's Chucky. And the guitar stand was, I'm not shitting you, the guitar stand was like 3-4 feet away. And I didn't even get up. I just screamed to everyone outside my office because I'm in a fishbowl at this big glass office. And I called everyone in. I said, you guys got to take pictures because I'm not making this up. The other the Poltergeist clown, anyone seen Poltergeist? Yeah.
Okay.
1984.
Phew.
There's only one evil clown. So they only made one clown for the movie for filming that had the evil face when the clown basically came alive and strangled Robbie Freeling. So it took delivery of that. And that clown, instead of the middle of the afternoon at about like 2 a.m. when I was at the office alone and the lights were off, that clown not only started moving, I noticed something out of my peripheral vision, and all of a sudden I turned to where it was seated, and the clown literally lunged forward and flopped down. And I thought, oh.
You're just surrounded by the weirdest shit all the time.
Yeah.
My entire life, I've wanted this stuff to happen to me. I would love to see something incredible or have something unknown happen. Nothing. So you walk into the room
taken
and
50
I'm
years.
Yeah, okay, I just got to get a little bit older.
Yeah.
Oh
and don't keep your skepticism alive, because I think for whatever reason, it comes when you least expect it, especially if you're skeptical. The people that have the greatest skepticism and sometimes animosity toward these topics that visit Skinwalker Ranch end up in the hospital with mysterious illnesses, injuries, or they have an experience that is life-changing. There's a reason why it has been locked down since 1996 with armed security.
Okay, Rob, we need to go,
Sorry.
Rob, next time we're here. Just quickly, Rob, I know you were scared of Chucky as a kid, right?
Yeah, as a kid.
How was this for you?
It's fine. It's a doll.
Oh, very brave.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon, before we send you off, just really quickly, and this is going to be like a weird segue into our next guest, there is a cave system in Utah that I've been obsessed with for a very long time as someone who is fucking terrified of caves and claustrophobia. If I say Nutty Putty,
wow,
we got a clap.
Wow.
Just really quickly, and I didn't know this about you until we were talking backstage, you've been in there.
Yeah. When I was an Eagle Scout, and we took the scouts out to Nutty Putty Cave with the scout leader, who was the most crazy out of all of us. And I remember one of the most terrifying moments in my entire life. I mean,
well, you've had a few things. This fucking guy has lunged at you.
Top three.
You own Skinwalker Ranch.
Exactly. One of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had was getting caught in the birth canal of Nutty Putty Cave. And I remember you get really religious all of a sudden when you are, and I couldn't move. My body had basically gotten wedged deep in the earth in this Nutty Putty Cave system. And I remember it took about 10 minutes for me to be eased out of this place.
Oy.
And I've never prayed harder in my life. It was terrifying.
How long ago was this?
This
roughly?
This was 1980, 88.
Okay,
when I was
right.
16.
And that's part of the system where you essentially have to exhale to let your body get through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are some really mysterious cave systems in Utah and also very dangerous, and that's a tomb now. But I don't want to screw it up for the next.
You're not screwing anything up. You're amazing. Brandon, we're going to have you come on at the end for a Q&A.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Ask me anything. Anyone who wants to ask me anything.
Thank you for being open to this. Brandon Fugal, my God. I'm just deeply excited by Hellraiser and everything. I get very excited by this film.
You're one of 4 people.
I'm one of 4 people in Salt Lake City that enjoys it. Our next guest is big into caves, and I have him here because I know that Utah is full of a lot of like big stuff, big rocks, big walks, big salt lakes, and big caves. And I'm interested in caves because essentially the idea of going into caves, including Nutty Putty, which is one that exists here in Utah, is my biggest nightmare. I'm claustrophobic. I have an extraordinary fear of death, and the idea of voluntarily going into these systems just makes me deeply unsettled. I think, Rob, you're maybe similar?
Yeah, same level of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're both not brave, essentially.
What was your nickname, though?
Don't worry about it. Brandon Kowalis is a cave explorer, an award-winning cartographer and photographer, and author of Cursing at Mountains and Fragile Frontiers. He also has a deeply personal connection to Nutty Putty and what happened there, which we'll get to. He's here to make all of us pretty much either more scared or less scared of caves. I'm not sure which of the two. Please welcome to the stage, Brandon Kowalis. Another Brandon. Yeah, stay away from Chucky, please.
I'm waiting for it to jump.
I'm deeply aware that he could jump. It's freaking insane. Brandon, hi.
Hey.
Just square that little mic into you there. You are the opposite, I think, of Rob and I, in that you love getting into claustrophobic spaces. I'm just wondering, in the context of Utah and caving, what this state and area means to you.
So Utah is really unique in that there are a lot of states that have caves in them, but the great thing about Utah is just the diversity of caves. So you've got everything from lava tubes that are formed by volcanic eruptions and then lava flowing and then those tubes emptying out and draining. You've got alpine caves that are vertical, cold, deep, and then you get really mazy, warm caves out in the desert, and then also caves where you have rivers going through. There's a cave up in the Uintas that floods every year, and if you go, the entrance is about 100 feet in diameter, and every year the thing is, you can't even see the entrance because it's full of water. So a big diversity of caves in Utah.
What got you into caving? Have you been doing this since you were a kid, or is it more recent?
Yeah. So my parents back in, it probably would have been in the 90s. So I grew up in Illinois and Iowa, and there's a state park out there called Makokata Caves. And
big fan of a cave over there.
Yeah. So it's great. It's this, so there's this park, and they've got caves all over. They give you a map, and you just run around and you crawl in these different holes. And for me and
Terrible idea. You say that so casually.
I know, yeah.
You shouldn't be running around and crawling in holes.
How old
Stay
are you?
away from the holes.
How old are you at the time?
I was probably 17, like teenage hormones running through me, and I'm like not afraid of anything.
Yeah.
So that started like a spark. And I think going into Makokata Caves, like it was just this thrill of like, I don't know what's around the next corner. I don't know what I'm going to find. Does it continue? Does it end? Does it get big? Are there formations? And so we moved out to Utah, and immediately I see all this rock, and I'm like, there's got to be caves up there. So my brother and I, we started wandering up into the mountains just above Pleasant Grove, American Fork, to see if we could find caves, to find a place where no human being had ever been before.
Is that part of it, the idea that you're somewhere where no one has been?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that really is the drive. And for me nowadays, like I used to go caving every weekend and then got married, had kids, needed to prioritize that. And so I have fewer caving trips, but the priority now is virgin caves that no human being has been in. And so I have friends that will wander around the mountains where there's limestone and the right conditions. And we've found a handful of caves over the years that are pretty significant. And to be the very first human to lay footprints in that is really exciting because you have no idea what you're going to find around the corner.
What's the craziest thing you found?
There's a lot of diversity, but I think probably my favorite cave to go into it's a cave called Main Drain. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Tony Grove area up Logan Canyon. So it's up in that area, high alpine cave. And several years ago, it was back in the early 2000s, a friend of mine called me up and said, dude, like, you got to check this out. Like, this is getting big. And it was my friend who actually, his name was Ryan Schertz. And he sort of ties into Nutty Putty Cave down the road. But Ryan and his dad had poked into this cave. So it's a 270-foot pit. You get to the bottom of the pit, and he and some friends had gone into it. They knew about the pit, and he's waiting at the bottom. And as he's waiting, he's poking around. There's a slot in the back that goes up about 50 feet, coated in ice. And so he does this sort of like chimney up this narrow passage, and at the top, there's a hole that goes back, this tight squeeze where there's air ripping out of it. And so he climbs back in and hits this other pit series. And that's when he and his dad called me and said, we don't think we can do this alone. Can you come help us explore this? So we went out, and going into this cave, every time we'd go in, we'd drop down a pit and then survey some slot canyons, and then we would drop down some more pits. And every time we had no idea what we were getting into. And I remember at one point, we got to, I don't know, it was probably about the 800-foot level, so 800 feet deep.
Too deep.
No. So the deepest cave in the world, like over 2,000 meters deep. So this is just a little baby cave.
Jesus.
So
continue.
Yeah. So we get back in there, and I remember on one trip in particular, we come to this room, and the water, we can't hear the water because we're following the water down through the cave, and all of a sudden the water's gone and it's dry. And so we climb around the room, and off in the corner there's a hole, and so we chuck some rocks down it because that's what we do. Like, we're boys, we like to throw rocks at stuff. And you listen and you hear, you throw the rock, and it's just like, boom. And they were like, dang, that's deep. So we get the rope, throw it up there, and I was the first one to go down there. So I'm rappelling down, and all I can see is the wall in front of me. Around me, it's black. Up above me, it's black, and down below, it's black. And we don't even know if we have a rope that's long enough. So I rappel down, and we tie a knot in the end of the rope so you don't accidentally rappel off the end. Rappelling down, get near the bottom, and about 10 feet below me is this rope just kind of snaking in the air, and all I see below is just darkness. So then we switch around, climb back out. That was probably some of the most thrilling caving that I've done here in the state of Utah.
I might be dreaming this. I feel like when we talked a while ago, you were talking about how you went down at some point and there was like a rope fraying on a rock, which is like my nightmare. Was that you or someone else?
No, that was me. So just to describe quickly the cave. So there was that 270-foot entrance pit, 50-foot climb, 200-foot narrow slot that you rappel down, and then it opens into this really cool slot canyon with these cave pearls, look like little white marbles all over. And then you meander down that, you go over a couple of waterfalls, and then you get to a point where you come to this pit we call Frayed Knot Pit. And it's about a 250-foot rappel into a room that's, I mean, the pit itself is probably about the size of this room, but down 250 feet and up, it just goes up maybe another 80 feet and then pinches off. So I go up first, I get to the top, and I need to explain how we rigged the rope. So back in the early 2000s and before that, cavers would use these tag technique. Tag is like Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia. They have a lot of pits. They just throw the rope down, and then they put rope pads on the edges so that the rope doesn't rub and then slice itself in half while you're climbing up. Nowadays, we bolt to redirect so that there are no rub points. But back in those days, in this Frayed Knot Pit, there was this horn that was sticking out, like a big rock, jaggedy rock thing that was sticking out of the side of the pit. So we're like, oh, that'd be perfect. If we can kind of climb over there and get the rock over this horn, that'll get us out of the waterfall, and then we won't get wet. And the water in this cave, the cave is about 35 degrees temperature-wise, and it's wet. So as much as we can get out of the water, great. So we threw it over the horn, we all went down, and we're coming back. I climb up, and I get over this horn. You got 250 feet of wet rope. What I didn't notice is that the rope pad had slightly rotated just a little bit to the side, enough that I couldn't see that down below the rope pad, it was touching the rock. and it was a really, really sharp rock. So this guy is climbing the rope, it's fraying, and none of us had any clue what was happening so the rope's bouncing as he's climbing. He gets up to maybe like 20 feet and he sees this big giant fuzzball. He's like, what in the world is that? He sits there for a second and he's like, shoot. And
yeah, it's the rope, fray.
Exactly.
I know
he's
this.
like, oh no. So he climbs a few steps and he's like, I'm going to die. I'm dead. And so he just like pauses, he breathes for a minute, and then he takes it really, really slow, gets up to the fray, gets above the fray, and looks at it, and it had sawed more than halfway through the core of the rope. So just probably a few more minutes, and he would have fallen 250 feet, and everybody would have been stranded below, and that would have been the end of it. Now, luckily, then he tied a butterfly knot. Everybody climbed up, and we all lived happily ever after. But,
see, you were describing
terrifying.
why you shouldn't cave, FYI.
Exactly.
And this kind of brings me to my next point, and it's weird to talk about because I've thought about it so much, it's kind of almost become unreal in my mind. But I want to talk Nutty Putty, which is a caving system where something truly horrific happened. And I don't want to bastardize this too much because I don't know what I'm talking about. But essentially, a gentleman went caving in Nutty Putty. He took a wrong turn, went and ended up in this position in the wrong part of the cave, face down, couldn't reverse, this is my version of hell. You were called in and you were part of the rescue to attempt to get this person out, who ended up passing away. Mm-hmm. Can you just talk me through what that was like and how you got the call and what your part was in that?
Yeah. So I remember it was the day before Thanksgiving in 2009. And I got a call early in the morning from some friends of mine that were a part of the Utah Cave Search and Rescue that work with the Utah County Search and Rescue. And he called and he said, hey, we've got an incident out there. We need some small guys who can climb back into these tight areas and help with the rescue. They called and they're like, we are really desperate. We really need you down here. So I'm like, okay. So I drive down and get to the cave. And I think at that point, John Jones had been trapped for, it's probably 12 to 18 hours in the cave. And the big danger here and the big issue with the John Jones incident was there are lots of people that have been trapped in the cave before, but nobody that have been trapped upside down in a tight spot. And a lot of times what happens is when you get in these tight areas, you freak out. And then when you freak out, your whole body tenses up and then you're stuck. Essentially, if you just like relax and loosen yourself, loosen your muscles up, you can usually pop right out of what you got stuck into. So in talking to the paramedics, they said typically a human doesn't survive more than 12 to 18 hours upside down because of the fact of what happens is the body is designed to pump blood standing upright or laying down. When you're upside down, it's fighting against gravity. It can't circulate the blood, and so the blood begins to sort of die off and become toxic, and then eventually it hits a threshold where you die. So we're racing against the clock. So I go back in to the cave, and at this point, it's pretty dire. And I think it was right at that point when I was going in, Ryan Schertz, who I'd mentioned earlier, who had discovered the breakthrough into this main drain cave, the big cave, he was coming out bloody because the bolt that they had tied to rig a pulley system had burst out of the wall and smashed him across the face and knocked him unconscious while he was down in the same area where John Jones was.
Because they'd had an elaborate pulley system to try and like pull him out, right?
They did.
Because like you can't grab him by the feet and sort of pull him back. You had to have like the mechanics that would get him out.
The pulley, it managed to raise him a little bit, but the problem with the pulley is that you've got so many twists and turns. So when you get back into Nutty Putty, there's this area where it's wide enough and big enough to stand up. And right in that area, it goes off to the right into the birth canal passage, which Brandon had talked about getting stuck in. It's a pretty tight passage, but not quite as tight as what's beyond where John Jones was trapped. From that stand-up area, there's a crack you climb into, just a narrow crack. You have to kind of duck down. And then it goes up into a passage that's probably about that big in diameter, goes up 45 degrees, turns down 45 degrees for maybe 15 feet. And then it gets kind of flattish. And we're talking like maybe 10 inches, 8 to 10 inches tall. And then at that point, it goes through an even narrower hole that's probably about maybe 7 to 8 inches. And he had squeezed through there. He's like a 200, and I think it was 210 pounds. And right beyond that, it drops suddenly down a 70-degree slope in this tight, narrow area. So I had gotten back in to where he was. His feet were right next to where I was. And at that point, he was kind of in and out of conscious. He wasn't really coherent at all. And so I tried to figure out, like, how are we going to do this? Because looking at the cave, the pulley didn't work because there's so many twists and turns that even with the pulley, there's so much friction that 10 guys pulling on the rope couldn't budge him. And so I look at it, there's really nothing I can do. Try to figure out other scenarios where, like, we could try jackhammering, if we can go back 20 feet and jackhammer through the rock. We tried that. And after 2 hours, like, we got 2 inches of rock off the wall. So it's like, this is going to take forever. At that point, I go back in and I'm there with him. And then he passed away right there.
How do you think about that now as someone that was in that situation, and you're still caving, and you're in these situations where there is obviously danger everywhere for you and for other people? Does it change? Did that shift the way you think about what you do?
I don't know if it necessarily shifted the way that I approach caving. What happens though, like for me, when anybody that I care about or even that I'm close to in my life dies, it causes me to reflect on my own life and really, how am I living my life? Because the reality is we're all going to die eventually, and nobody knows when that's going to happen. Some of us maybe sooner than later. But just being able to come to terms with that and accept that there is risk in life, like no matter what we do, it seems like to end this life not having taken any risks would be a huge disappointment in my mind. So I think it was really sad at the time. John Jones was this young 20-year-old, had a child, and his wife was pregnant, and this happened. And it's like it can happen at any time. So for me, it's made me reflect on life and just live life to the fullest, I think. And anytime I go in a cave, like, I know there's risks there, and I do my best to mitigate it, but I don't worry because, I mean, eventually it's going to happen to all of us.
And this caving system is closed now, right? You can't get in there unless you really put in some effort.
That's right, yeah. So it's the cave was managed by the state trust lands,
right?
And they're not a land management agency. They basically sell lands to raise money for schools. So they're like, we don't want to deal with this anymore. Let's just cement it. And that is now his permanent tomb.
Thank you, Brandon. I feel like I'm not comfortable with caving. I wasn't comfortable before, and I'm not comfortable now.
Really?
But thank you. We're going to get one more guest on. We're going to bring you back in about 10 minutes for Q&A.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
You're amazing.
Stay tuned for more Flightless Bird. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Support for Flightless Bird comes from Tushy. You've got a smart mirror tracking your reps, a mug that keeps your coffee exactly the right temperature, and a lawn robot cutting your grass. There's probably a robot vacuum cleaner zooming around. But you know what? You're still rubbing your bum with dry paper. It's absolute madness. Why are we still doing this? I got a Tushy bidet last week. I've been using it ever since. And my whole life using toilet paper just seems like ancient, weird history from thousands of years ago. Having a Tushy bidet is just so efficient. It's cleaner, it's better, and you're not using all that stupid toilet paper. Who likes using toilet paper? It's horrible. 1-ply, 2-ply, 3-ply. There's always risk. It's never a good idea. That's where Tushy comes in. The Tushy bidet transforms your bathroom wellness for life. Gut to butt to bowl. Soothe your bottom with instantly warm water that never runs cold. And 99% of people who wash with Tushy warm water bidets feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. That's no surprise because it's just way better than paper. Tushy e-bidets instantly modernize your daily routine and bathroom with a heated seat, adjustable water temperature, and a powerful yet gentle dryer. And every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. That's great. E-bidets only require an outlet. And it's just really easy to use. If you haven't used a bidet before, well, you've been missing out. You sit, you cleanse, and you dry using the built-in air dryer. Cleaning yourself after using the bathroom is now entirely hands-free. We're living in the future. It's not even the future. It's just we're not living in the past anymore. People who have made the switch to Tushy use up to 80% less toilet paper. No more clogged toilets. No more wasting money on something that does an inferior job cleaning your body. And it comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. So, stop guessing you're clean. Start feeling it. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code BIRD at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code BIRD. This is a slightly unusual segue. We don't have another Brandon, but we have a Brad, another B.
3 bras on stage.
I don't know if this is a jarring segue, actually, but we're just going to do it. I was unaware of this until a couple of weeks ago, but you guys have wiener dog races. Do you know this? Hundreds and hundreds of wiener dogs released to race one another. And I have a Brad Wheeler that I want to introduce onto the stage now, who runs this whole fucking ridiculous thing. Brad, welcome to Flightless Bird. There's no wiener dogs, but there is a Brad. So the annual wiener dog race, I told you it was quite a segue, happened yesterday.
Yes.
Brad was there kind of corralling the whole thing.
They called me the commissioner of wiener dog racing.
As you do. Primarily, I want to know how it all went and what it takes to wrangle that many wiener dogs in one place.
It was amazing. I don't know if you guys know, but the last 2 years, we've had 150 wiener dogs come to the race. And this year, we broke a record for the nation's largest wiener dog race. 270 wiener dogs showed up yesterday.
So, are you a lifelong wiener dog fan?
I am not. I've only become exposed.
Hates them.
And I don't own a wiener dog. Usually that's the follow-up question. You obviously own a wiener dog, right? I'm a cat guy.
You can't race cats, though.
You can't raise cats. Yeah, we talked about that. If I could, I'd probably do that. But
what does it look like? Because I couldn't make it yesterday. I got in too late. What does it look like? They're all at a starting line.
Starting line.
Yeah. How far are they racing? How long does it take for them to get to the end?
It's a 50-meter course, and it depends. Like some dogs will just break right off the starting line, and some dogs will break and stop right in the middle and just look. And some dogs actually went the other way and just like ran underneath the stage. Every dog is kind of different. You have no idea what they're going to do.
And how long does it take until there's a winning wiener exactly?
It could be a minute. It could be 5 minutes. I mean, it depends. I mean, the dogs can just stop in the middle of the course, and then it's just like shouting at them to try and go across the line.
The wiener dog, are they a smart dog or are they stupid?
I think they're a smart dog. I mean, when you show up, first, they're just yappy. Just super, super yappy. And they're just kind of, I guess, getting to know each other. I don't know. And I think they're genuinely intrigued too. Like, holy shit, there's a lot of us here. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, you can kind of feel that. And then when it's time to race and you put them on the course, it seems like they instinctively know, like, oh my God, yeah, we know what to do. We are here. And some of them are just barking and just so excited. I mean, their owners are at the finish line. Some of them have treats. Somebody showed up with a loaf of French bread yesterday at the finish line. Another guy's just shaking a jar of Jiffy peanut butter. Another guy had his car with the wheels just running so the dog would come after it.
Yeah. Who ended up winning?
His name was Dennis. He was from Michigan. We had dogs that showed up from Italy. We had dogs that showed up from Antigua. We had dogs that came from all over. I couldn't believe it. Dogs from Wendover, dogs from Provo. Yeah, it was amazing.
Holy shit.
That's what I said too. That's exactly what I said too. The hardest part is the false starts. I mean, sometimes they just want to throw the wieners out there, before it's time to go. And then there was one lady, it was hard to tell her yesterday, but that dog is not a wiener. She's like, my vet said this dog is a wiener. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Your vet is full of shit. This is not a wiener, yeah.
Nice try.
Yeah. She put a costume on it to try and get it to pass through, like a little bun, but that's not a wiener.
You run another thing during the year, and I'm just quickly curious about this Pie and Beer Day, which is
Pie and Beer Day.
That's you.
You look up to this, and that's riffing on Pioneer Day, which is
Correct.
another day which is celebrating the pioneer Mormons that came here.
Correct.
What Pioneer Day, what actually takes place on that day? It feels deeply American as well.
When I moved here in 1980, there was a family that kind of sponsored our family. They were the Moores, and I was fascinated by them. Les Moore and Sharon Moore. And Mr. Moore said, on the first 24th of July, we were like, what is this? This is bigger than the 4th of July. What is going on? And he's like, this is Pioneer Day, but for the rest of us, son, it's Pie and Beer Day. And he just told us as Gentiles, this is our holiday. So thank you, yes. And it's something I always kind of did on the 24th of July. And then one time I was tasked with coming up with a fundraiser for a radio station. And they were like, we got to raise some money. And I was like, why don't we have a pie and beer party? And they said, that is the grossest, dumbest thing we've ever heard you say. And I was like, I think it's golden. What are you talking about?
It's great.
So they said, go and try it. So I made a little promo for it. And in 24 hours, the New York Times called me and wanted to do an interview about Pie and Beer Day.
Really good.
And it just blew up. You were talking backstage about how one thing can just make something blow up. And
Completely.
It completely blew up.
If you could have one day, your wiener dog racing day or pie and beer day, what one would you keep?
Oh my
what are you
God.
most passionate about? What is the most American of the 2 days? You can only have one.
I would probably have to say pie and beer. I mean, it just has that long tradition.
It does. I mean, wieners aren't particularly American, the dogs, are they?
But there's something amazing about wiener dog racing. Like there is no
It's those little
red
legs.
or blue. There's no libtard or MAGA. It's just pure wiener dog. It's just pure emotion, and it's just so joyous. It's contagious.
Can they move fast, the wiener dog?
They can move pretty fast.
They can fly.
Yeah, and they look beautiful when you play them back in slow motion. It's almost like addictive. It's just something like, what is going on? Like, yeah. You asked about how I got into it. Everybody knows Kevin at the Heavy Metal Shop, right? Yeah. Kevin at the Heavy Metal Shop had I think it was his 30th anniversary. And Kevin has had this wiener dog that he has at the shop for years. And he decided he wanted to have a wiener dog race. And he's like, I want you to do it. I'm like, why me? He's like, well, I know you have a megaphone, and I feel like you could just do it. So I said, okay.
You have a great voice for this.
Thank you. Man, Kevin's a charismatic guy. He's kind of hard to say no to as well. So I think like 7 wieners showed up, and we went off to the park to the side of the Heavy Metal Shop, and I lined everybody up at the start and finish line, and the wieners just went the wrong directions. And then when I figured out just to line everybody up the other way, and I saw them take off, I instantly addicted. Instantly. I had never seen them in that light before. They were always to me kind of a little annoying animal, you know what I mean? People that own wieners seemed a little different, but now I realize it's a cult. It's a total cult.
You have a new appreciation for wieners.
What? I'm the commissioner of wiener dog racing now, yeah.
I love this so much. It seems like an appropriate time to bring the 2 Brandons back, and we kind of battle it out with a Q&A. I imagine you have questions. I mean, if you don't have questions for these 3 people, I don't know what is wrong with you. Brandon and Brandon, can you come back, please? And we'll sort of have a little bit of a quick fire. I think you see here, you wrangle Chucky because this is an incredibly precious creature right here. Welcome back. Welcome back. I figure we don't have a mic for the crowd, but I'm just going to kind of point to someone that I see raising their hands. You're going to yell your question. I'm going to repeat it back into the mic for everyone, and we're going to see how this goes. Any questions for any of these handsome men on the stage? Sir, front row at the end. Second, Brandon, caver, do you feel scared yourself? Do you get fear? Because that's something I also want to know.
I have in the past, but I think it's like any fear. I mean, the more you face it, the less scary it becomes. And that's something I've sort of applied to life. It's like the more I try things, like the less that I even worry, and then the fewer fears that I have in my life. But there are still times, like if I get into a situation where I start to feel a little uneasy, like it's really just a matter of stopping and breathing and then reassessing and calming myself down. Most cavers or non-cavers that get into caves, like get injured or in trouble because they freak out. If they would just calm down and think through it, like they would figure it out. But yeah, At this point, like, I really don't get scared in caves anymore, but I have had moments for sure.
Have you watched the horror The Descent about the monsters in the caves?
Yeah, that's happened before. I'm not scared of monsters anymore.
Oh my God.
What are you scared of?
Well, I'll tell you the most terrifying caving experience I've had in the last few years. So my kids were really interested in going caving. And so I took them out into the desert. There's like a 60-foot pit called Pink Lime Pit. And I took them out there.
Don't take them out there.
They loved it. And it builds character. What better way to build resilient kids than put them on a rope and throw them down a pit? So putting them on that, so I set up the rope, set everything up, had my wife go down. She went down first, and so she's the belay as a backup. But just like watching them step over and thinking, did I tie everything right? I hope I did my knots right. I hope that the center's all connected, and then sent them off, and they loved it. Like, they were so terrified. My daughter was bawling as she's stepping over. And she's like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, you don't have to do it. I want to do it.
Oh my God, 2 more psychopaths you're raising.
I know, that's right. So,
any other questions? Yeah, Brandon, another UFO sighting that stands out to you.
We had the Salt Lake Astronomical Society come out, and they brought their, tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment, and all their equipment malfunctioned. And frankly, the star chart that was on their closed system hard drive was completely deleted above the ranch, would not allow them to see any of the star charts. We got this all on camera. And then there was a UFO that appeared right above them in the triangle, right when all of the equipment was malfunctioning. There seems to be a correlation between electromagnetic anomalies and equipment malfunctions, and I don't know whether it's attributed to the propulsion system that these craft or these objects are using or what. But there seems to be a correlation. But we had a couple of people from the USS Nimitz who had gone before Congress in the congressional hearings that came out to the ranch, and in broad daylight, they all saw this huge, bright, orb-like object appear, and it was witnessed by everyone. They got it on camera. There were dozens of people there, the whole crew. It was really unexpected. So it happens, but it's unpredictable.
Middle there, sir. Best dog
man, there's
names.
one dog that comes named Baby Pond Scum. And he's been there 3 years in a row, and he's usually in the finals. Yeah, Baby Pond Scum.
Really, really good. Right at the back in the corner. Has anyone ever tried to kind of heal the land at Skinwalker Ranch?
That's a damn good question. We've had Native American spiritual leader. We've had shaman come from both the Navajo and the Ute tribe. We had a rabbi, a world-renowned rabbi, come out and pronounce certain ritual prayers. If anything, it seems to amplify what they're trying to do. So if you think of the ranch as like an amplifier of intent, almost like a wish maker, wish granter, but a little bit more complex. And we've seen strange things happen when the spiritual leaders come out. So we've attempted it, but it's only seemed to agitate or amplify things strangely.
It's backfired.
Yeah. It not really backfired. It's just, things have happened. Everything from wind, all of a sudden a dust devil appears, or wind, spins up. Or when the rabbi was there, and this is on the series, when we had this rabbi out, we had this $35,000 thermographic imaging camera that was monitoring, that was documenting it while this rabbi was pronouncing this prayer, this rabbinical chant that's supposed to open portals to other realms. And all of a sudden, this in the middle of July, the temperature dropped about 10 degrees all around Homestead 2. And then right in the doorway of Homestead 2, it went black on the thermographic image, which was deep freeze, which is below freezing. So everyone stopped the ritual and proceeded to go toward Homestead 2, and they all described it as if they were walking into a deep freezer. And really unusual things happen within the environment when you bring people that have focused intent and are probably gifted as well.
Thanks for the question.
It's a good question, though.
Thanks for the answer. Ma'am, at the end. Yeah. The question is another adventure for all
Why wouldn't you
three
think we
guests?
already are in therapy?
Yeah.
Or therapy. Therapy or a new adventure? I'm in therapy, but I had no adventures planned.
Yeah. I don't have any time for therapy. I'm too busy adventuring.
Okay. Kava, you need therapy.
No, caving is my therapy.
Yeah.
It teaches me how to deal with life.
Yeah.
Do wiener dog races lead you to therapy, or are you doing okay?
I don't know if you know, I meditate. I'm a Buddhist monk when I'm not racing wiener dogs. So, yeah.
Amazing.
No problem with that. Yeah.
One more question so we don't annoy this wonderful venue too much. Wow, up there.
Whoa,
I like
oh
that.
my
Very
God. I
bold
didn't even
pull.
see
I'm a little
those
bit
people.
scared, but I enjoy the enthusiasm. Up there, up there. What is your question?
Would
Would
you
I
the
was
guys,
caver
hoping someone
go
was going to
caving
ask
in
if we do a
Skinwalker?
wiener dog race at Skinwalker Ranch. I thought we could
let's
heal
combine them
everything
all.
out there.
That sounds badass.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I would definitely. I've been to we did some caving in Mexico, and the locals, so we work with the locals. We develop relationships first, and usually after like half a day, they're like, yeah, we've got some caves on our property, but just so you know, they've been cursed, and there is Spanish gold hidden on them, so if you don't die, you need to give us the gold. So we're like, sign me up. We're going in, and you can have all the gold.
Okay.
So
I will
would
tell you,
absolutely-
Brandon, I have a property on Big Island. I bought 3.5 acres because it has 2 entrances to deep lava tube cave systems that I believe haven't been fully mapped out that actually ultimately go to the ocean, but and somewhere empty out in the
Okay.
cliffs.
You're
Love
going
it.
down
I would
there.
Love it.
I
Heck
would
yeah.
totally pay you to map the cave system
That's
if you're
awesome.
game.
Heck yeah.
You can send your kids down first.
They'll help me survey. Yeah.
Or send some wiener dogs.
Yeah, they'll be the canaries. Screw
Put a
canaries.
little pager on them. They go right down in there. Come right back.
One final question. You had it originally done here. Yes, sir. Yeah, were there any other decisions as far as saving the caver that got stuck in Nutty Putty? What was the thinking around that?
So at the time when I got there, it takes a while to set up a pulley system, and before that they had tried several things. The biggest problem is that they were racing against time because he was upside down. So really the last ditch effort once the pulley system had broken was, can we blast our way all the way back to where he is, widen it enough that we can get more people to get him out? And at that point he had died. So and there's been a lot of comments on my article on the website, and yeah, we couldn't think of anything at the time that we could do more than what we had done. Given, and a lot of people are like, well, why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that? Well, you really have to be there in the stuck in a cave where you can't move at all, and it's like, what can you do given you can't move and everybody behind you and in front of you can't move more than just a few inches in order to haul a 200-pound person out of a little hole? So yeah, really there wasn't really much else that we had thought of at that time.
An intense question. There was a question around why can't you break his legs, because that would give you more sort of an angle to bring him out.
So even if you were to break his legs and make him more flexible to get out, you still have the issue of 210-pound person, and only people like my size that are 130 can get back in there, and you're in a tight spot, and you got to be able to lift this. So even if he was like just jello, you still like trying to lift that kind of a weight through tiny holes and getting caught on edges and things. Like it's just, it was impossible.
Matt,
Good
huge
question.
respect for you to even be down there trying and communicating with someone that is in that situation. Like, it's fucking
Thank
incredible.
you. Thank you.
Insane awe to you. I thank all of you for agreeing to come on stage with Rob and I to do a weird show about American culture. All of you. Thank you so much for coming to Flightless Bird Live. Thank you for being here and the wonderful questions. And tell everyone about the world's best podcast, Flightless Bird. Thank you.
Somewhere between confidence and self-deprecation. You know what I mean. I say it, then I flip through the stations. And she's looking at me, but I'm looking for the feeling. And I feel it spinning, but I know that we're on different rotations. And I want to cry in the arms of somebody that knows me. I think I've been trying, but I don't want anybody to know me. No, I don't want anybody to know me. Somewhere between burning out in self-isolation. I don't know what that means, but I'll bite my cheek until I can taste it. I think I like me, but hell, I think that I might like everybody. But I'm looking at me, and I don't think that I know how to love me. And I want to cry in the arms of somebody that knows me. I think I've been trying, but I don't want anybody to know me. No, I don't want anybody to know me. No, I can't let anybody know me. Radio player, I fell asleep. Drums in the basement turn up the TV. I tried to listen to what they were playing. I tried to sing in my sleep. Radio player, do you listen to me? A visit to where we used to live. Breaking and enter, Low River gets in. And if the guy next door was a kid from before, now he's big and we better run quick. Radio player, what trouble you're in. The house isn't there anymore. And I don't know if it ever was. But memory is a fickle thing when you cope with the damage like us. Radio player, look what we've done. Radio player, look what we've done. but I still don't look like you. I burned the map, now the north is a sound, and the blood's not blood, it's the juice from a cherry. And it hurt my mouth, sucking stones, spitting weary, empty, empty. We break like belonging, we're broken like bread. When you look, you don't see it, don't know where we've been. From two of us brothers till both of us dead, laid to rest in the 90s in the back seat of a van. And the time will pass. Old punks in comfortable shoes, but your hate is fit to last. Getting sick from the thorns that you chew, and the blood's not blood, it's the juice from a cherry. And I spit it out, sucking stones, getting weary, 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 weary. We break like belonging, we're broken like bread. When you look, you don't see it, don't know where we've been. From two of us brothers till both of us dead, laid to rest in the 90s in the back seat of a van. Ask a complicated question of the witness. I think that he is here with us. I keep feeling like I'm getting to the party just when everyone is leaving. I don't need an audience for every feeling, but God, I know this one I do. I can see why you are doing what you're doing. I can see a part of me in you. places. Once we stopped following the map, couldn't arrive at myself without you. Maybe you could feel like that. Maybe you could feel like that. Maybe you could tell me I'm right. Tell me you like it. Will you tell me that I am a good person and take me out when I fight it? Say what you mean. To hide it is violent. All the people that I told all my secrets now just stare at me in silence. Sometimes I can go a week without feeling. I come to with a gasp during small talk. It's not that I'm crying over weather, it's just that I don't know where the time goes. Think I found what's at the bottom of the spiral. I think it's when there's no witness, no one to see you at the party with your hair long, spinning in a new dress, and knowing it's a new dress, spinning. Tell you my name when it's in a new language. Will you tell me I'm your favorite version of me, and then watch while I change it? Blink twice for yes, swim out at high tide. All the people that we told all our secrets, they all cheer from other times.